ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం. రామాయ రామభద్రాయ రామచంద్రాయ వేధసే రఘునాథాయ నాథాయ సీతాయ పతయే నమః. కూజంతం రామ రామేతి మధురం మధురాక్షరం ఆరుహ్య కవితా శాఖాం వందే వాల్మీకికోకిలం. అథ రవిరవదన్నిరీక్ష్య రామం ముదితమనాః పరమం ప్రహృష్యమాణః నిషిచరపతి saṅkṣayaṃ viditvā suragaṇa madhyagatō vachastvarēti. So the entire text is that of upasana. Upasana is essentially the feeling, whereas jnanam is the understanding. The understanding in the heart, not in the head. Feeling is, of course, in the heart. What you feel is upasana. What you understand is jnanam. What you think or know is intellect. And what you think is emotion, what you know is intellect. These are all within you. So you avoid too much of rationalization when it comes to upasana. Just cultivate that sense of love, feel the love. You look at the sun, you are looking at Bhagavan. And the same Bhagavan is in your heart also as the innermost self. That will come later. If that Bhagavan and this Bhagavan is one and the same, that is jnanam. But till jnanam, it is upasana. So you develop that feeling of love, and so that is what Rama is doing. So he looked at Rama. He looked at the sun and chanted the way we have seen the Aditya Hṛdayam. Then when you look at the sun looks at you. You speak to the sun speaks to you. Means you get the inspiration. So sun looked at Rama as Rama looks at sun. At the end of the chapter, the style of Vālmikīyē is to change the meter. Till the last verse, the meter is Anushtup, small meter, simple meter, very popular meter. But at the end, the meter changes. You have that verse. The moment the meter changes, that means the canto has come to an end. That is the style of Vālmikīyē. And the same style is followed by other great poets also who came later than Vālmikīyē. So you see, you speak to God, then God speaks to you. You feel the God, then God reciprocates. Okay? So you become silent, God will speak from within. If you are speaking, God won't speak. He will keep silent. That's why in Gita, iti uktva arjunaha tushnim babhuvaha. Arjuna became quiet. Shri Bhagavan vacha. When Arjuna becomes quiet, Arjuna is you and me. When we become quiet, Bhagavan will speak from within. This is sometimes called as the inner voice, the guidance of the inner conscience, the conscience, like that the people call it. Okay? Therefore, you get guided, and you guide yourself, you get the guidance. So the sun looked at Rama, and Rama was very much happy, and therefore Bhagavan is very much happy too. A Mahatma is asked, "Dear sir, when we worship God, how to know that God is pleased or not?" Propitiate, God must be pleased. That's why we do the worship, mental worship only we are talking about. So this is what is called Parameshvara Prityartham, Priti. So the Mahatma asked, are you satisfied with your prayer? If you are satisfied with your relating to God, then God is equally satisfied with you. But if you feel a bit lacking, you feel, no, I'm not satisfied with my worship with my devotion, then God is also not satisfied. It works like that. Therefore, there is no difference between self and the God. You look at the God, God looks at you. You speak with the God, God speaks to you. All these in your heart. Are you not doing the same thing with the world? That is what you are doing. You see, you look at a pet and assume that the pet is responding to you. Are you not? Are you not? You look at a child, a 6 months old child, and address the child, and you get amused that the child has responded to you. So when you can project that way with reference to an animal or a child, etc., why don't you think that you can have a similar feeling with reference to God also? Because what happened is we have made God into an idol and kind of lifeless and voiceless, and kept in Vaikuntha or in puja room. Therefore, we have removed God from our consciousness. Therefore, God doesn't speak to us, God doesn't respond to us, only we will be praying all the time. This is our problem. We have to address this problem. And the way of addressing is love. Love God and God loves you back. And so if you are satisfied with your prayer, suppose you do Surya Namaskar. Are you satisfied with your way of doing Surya Namaskar? If you are satisfied, God is also satisfied. If you feel you have not done it well, your mind is elsewhere and you have not done it well, then God also is not entirely satisfied. So it works like that. So the Aditya, the God, the creator, was very happy with Rama because Rama has prayed with total love. And then, so Rama got the message, don't delay any further, go ahead and gain victory. So, you see, when you worship the light, dispelling of darkness is not very far. Niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ viditvā. When you worship jnanam, ajnana will go away. People don't worship jnanam, they worship the world and keep the ajnana intact. They worship wealth, they worship pleasures, they worship names and forms, they worship the untruth, they worship the world. That is how people are. And therefore the ajnana remains. The day you worship knowledge, the darkness is at once dispelled. The moment the sun comes, all the darkness will go away. Therefore, our priorities are wrong, our focus is in the wrong place. That's why the God vision, the vision of God becomes entirely a belief for us. We put it into the category of belief and get satisfied with it. And then you hand over the entire responsibility of God worship to a priest. That is what people do. And the priest is not, if you don't know, that the priest is not a generally qualified person. The priest is not generally qualified. If he passes high school and goes to college, he will not become a priest. Only when he cannot pass that threshold of high school, then he goes into all astrologers, numerologists, priests, they fall into that categories. Politician, I used to say that, this time I did not say. In India, illiterate people have two options, have two professions. One is politics, the other is God business. That works like that. Illiterate people. Therefore, the priest doesn't know much. There are the exceptions. I'm saying in general terms, exceptions do not make the rule. And I am not ridiculing also. I am just making the statement of fact. Therefore, priest is not qualified to guide you. But you hand over the entire worship of God business to priest. And you become a follower and a believer. So you don't worship knowledge. You don't worship love. You don't worship that. Knowledge is God. Love is God. You don't worship those things. You end up worshipping an idol and hand over even that worship to the priest. And you become a believer and follower. That is not what Aditya Hṛdayam is. What I said, every letter, you can prove it to yourself. Every letter. You love God, God will love you. You speak to God, God will speak to you. You cry before God, God will bless you. You cry before the world. People cry before the world. Cry before father-in-law or whatever. Whatever. Cry before boss. So cry before the pleasures and wealth. You do the same thing before God, God will bless you. You should learn to cry also. That is the intensity of the feeling. Okay? I'm not promoting emotionalism. I'm emphasizing the feeling of love. That is upasana. Okay? And so, when the Aditya, the sun, blesses Rama, the dispelling of the forces of darkness, that is Ravana. Niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ. So it is not far away. It is soon. And the sun blessed Rama, sun is surrounded by various devatas. That is Hiranyagarbha, you know. Not only Hiranyagarbha is surrounded by devatas, you are surrounded by devatas. Your eyes are the sun, your ears are the Digdevata, your speech is Agni Devata, your feet are walking faculty is Vishnu, your hands are Indra, and your intellect is Brihaspati, your love is God, Brahma or Brahma. Therefore, the Creator, surrounded by devatas, blessed Rama, and Rama received the blessing, and he is now ready for the next course of action. So that finishes Aditya Hṛdayam. So here, you see, you have to understand, all flows from Atma. Therefore, when you worship the sun, the same sun is in your heart as the innermost self. And all blessings in life flow from Atma. Unfortunately, what we do is one painter, this painting, God-related painting is very popular in India. Painting, dance, drama, music, everything is connected to religion in India because religion is the mainstream. So if there is painting, that is religious. If the music, it is religious. Dance, everything is religious. Therefore, the painter, what he does, he puts Sai Baba's painting. Sai Baba, you know, Shirdi Baba. And he puts the hand like this. And from the center of the hand, the rays of light come and fall upon the devotee. That is how people believe. The rays of light, the blessings come from God outside in the form of rays. You are just imagining, nothing more than that. It never comes like that. The blessing, all blessings come from within. You have to understand, happiness doesn't come from outside into you. It comes from within. So, and peace doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. And Atma Chaitanyam, the inner awareness, is the source of good health. Good health also doesn't come out from outside into you. It comes from within. So you become spiritually right, then psychological and physical dimensions, they become healthy. If you are spiritually bankrupt, then psychological and physical dimensions will be entirely messed up. Therefore, all blessings come from inner self. That you have to do. Then the moment you move forward with enthusiasm, that is what Rama is doing, enthusiasm and cheerfulness. People, they do work with frustration and with no love for the work. That is how they do. Because it is a yoke on the shoulders and it has to be done, otherwise the boss will do something. That is not the spirit of doing work. When you proceed to work hard, udyama, work hard, and work with cheerfulness, don't complain. So once you do that, the outcome will be all joy and fulfillment. Therefore, the rays of light of the sun, that was early morning, they fell upon Rama. It is as good as the sun is blessing Rama. And the sunlight, it dispels the darkness That is certain. That is what happened. And therefore, outer sun dispels the darkness, the inner sun dispels the disappointment, frustration, unhappiness, fear, lack of confidence. All those qualities are dispelled. That is the inner darkness that is dispelled by the inner sun. Once you have the blessing of the sun, outer as well as the inner, now you have the blessings of all devatas. Okay? Generally, people will be doing blessings of devata. This devata I got, but that devata I did not get. Like that, they become very superstitious about it. You have to understand, all devatas are included in Hiranyagarbha, who is in the form of the solar orb before us, and who is also the innermost self. Therefore, you have once you have the blessings of Aditya, you have blessings of all devatas. So Rama jumped into the fray, and the canto has come to an end, and the battle between Rama and Ravana started. There is no comparison for that battle. Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Rama Ravanayoriva. The battle between Rama and Ravana is comparable to the battle between Rama and Ravana. There is no other comparison. And so Ravana was a very great warrior, but he could not stand before Rama. And Rama's arrow slays Ravana. And the victory becomes, comes to Sri Rama. And then all the difficulties of Sita Devi have come to an end. And then Sita was asked to go through Agni Pariksha, is Prakshipta. It is not part of Valmiki. It is not there in Valmiki's Ramayana. Somebody else added it. Who added, why added, I have mentioned here in this book. So to convert the poetry of an epic into the miracles and mysteries of Purana, that is the effort done by somebody. And in the process, they have introduced this Agni Pariksha kind of thing to Sita Devi. And Rama has never, he doesn't have any doubt about Sita. Sita need not prove herself. All of that came in the medieval period. And that brought a lot of bad name for Rama. Very sad. All that is mentioned here. So finally it says, Bhagavan is shining before you as the sun. And so the author of the book prays to Bhagavan that all people should understand Valmiki's Ramayana. By studying Ramayana, they should cultivate the devotion to Sri Rama and thus make their life fulfilled. Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. That is how the book comes to an end. Now here are a few questions. So Sanskrit meaning for 31. So let us say, Atha afterwards, Ravihi the sun, muditamanāḥ, having a happy mind, paramam very much, prahṛṣyamāṇaḥ, becoming pleased, rāmaṃ Rama, nirīkṣya, having seen. You are following? That is how Aditya looked at Rama. Okay? So it is like when you look at the other person is looking at you like that. Like that. It can be positive, it can be negative also. Somebody questioned, why are you looking at me? Then that person said, how do you know that I am looking at you? So it can be negative also. So if you look at the sun is looking at you. Niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ. The impending destruction of the Lord of forces of darkness. Viditvā, having understood. Suragaṇa madhyagatō, obtaining in the midst of groups of devatas. Tvara, make haste. Iti, thus, vachaha, word, avadat. Avadat is at the beginning, spoke. Okay? That is the meaning of the verse. ityārṣē śrīmadrāmāyaṇē yuddhakāṇḍē Aditya Hṛdaya stotram sampurnam. Now let us say a few questions. There is something more? Now let us recite the whole thing. I will say it and you have to say following me. We have time, you don't worry. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Tato yuddha parishrantam samare chintaya sthitam ravananchagrato društva yuddhaya samupasthitam दैवतैश्च समागम्य द्रष्टुमभ्यागतो रणम् उपगम्याब्रवीद्रामम् अगस्त्यो भगवान् ऋषिः राम राम महाबाहो शृणु गुह्यं सनातनम् येन सर्वानरीन् वत्स समरे विजयिष्यसि. There can be variation also, vijayishyase. Such variations could be there. Aditya Hṛdayam punyam sarvashatru vināshanam jayāvaham jape nityam akshayam paramam shivam. In some places it may appear as akshayam paramam shivam. Both are equally correct. Sarva mangala mangalyam sarva papa pranashanam chinta shoka prashamanam ayurvardhanamuttamam rashmimantam samudyantam devasura namaskrutam pujayasva vivasvantam bhaskaram bhuvaneshwaram sarvadevatmako hiyesha tejasvi rashmi bhavanaha. Strictly, if you break it, visarga will come. But if you say combined, there is no visarga. Sarvadevatmako hiyesha tejasvi rashmi bhavanaha. Esha deva suragaṇan lokan pati gabhastibhihi. Esha brahma cha vishnushcha shivaskanda prajapatihi mahendro dhanadah kalo yamassomo yapampatihi pitaro vasavasadhyaha. If you break, visarga will come. If you combine visarga, you can skip. Hiyashvinau maruto manuho. You may say by skipping. Pitaro vasavasadhya hiyashvinau maruto manuho. Vayurvannih praja prāṇaha. Now we say combined. Vayurvannih praja prāṇa ritukarta prabhākaraha. Aditya savita suryaha khagah poshagabhastiman suvarna sadrusho bhanur hiranyareta divakaraha haridashvas sahasrarchis sapta saptirmarichiman timironmathanashambhustvashta martandakom shuman hiranyagarbhashishiras tapanohaskaro ravihi agnigarbhoditehe putrashankashishiranaṣanaha vyomanathastamo bhedi ऋग्यजुस्सामपारगः घनवृष्टिरपां मृत्युः मित्रो विन्ध्यवीथीप्लवङ्गमः आतपीमण्डली मृत्युः पिङ्गलः सर्वतापनः कविर्विश्वो महातेजा रक्तः सर्वभवोद्भवः. There also when you break visarga will come, but you can say combined. नक्षत्रग्रहताराणामधिपो विश्वभावनः तेजसामपि तेजस्वी द्वादशात्मन्नमोऽस्तु ते. नमः पूर्वाय गिरये पश्चिमायाद्रये नमः ज्योतिर्गणानां पतये दिनाधिपतये नमः जयाय जय भद्राय हर्यश्वाय नमो नमः. नमो नमः सहस्रांशो आदित्याय नमो नमः. नम उग्राय वीराय सारंगाय नमो नमः. नमः पद्मप्रबोधाय प्रचंडाय नमोऽस्तु ते. ब्रह्मेशानाच्युतेशाय सूरायादित्यवर्चसे भास्वते सर्वभक्षाय रौद्राय वपुषे नमः. तमोघ्नाय हिमघ्नाय शत्रुघ्नायामितात्मने कृतघ्नघ्नाय देवाय ज्योतिषां पतये नमः. तप्तचामीकराभाय हरये विश्वकर्मणे नमस्तमोभिनिघ्नाय रुचये लोकसाक्षिणे नाशयत्येष वैभूतम् तमेव सृजति प्रभुः पायत्येष तपत्येष वर्षत्येष गभस्तिभिः. If you break it, visarga will come. That's why. Esha supteshu jagarti bhuteshu parinisthitah esha chaivagnihottrancha phalanchaivagnihottrinam devaschakratavaschaiva क्रतूनां फलमेव च यानि कृत्यानि लोकेषु सर्वेषु परमः प्रभुः एनमापत्सु कृच्छ्रेषु. So from here onwards it is Phalashruti. Up to that Aditya Hṛdayam. Kantareshu bhayeshu cha कीर्तयन् पुरुषः कश्चिन्नावसीदति राघव. You can combine also as कीर्तयन् पुरुषः कश्चिन्नावसीदति राघव. पूजयस्वैनमेकाग्रो देवदेवं जगत्पतिम् एतत्त्रिगुणितं जप्त्वा युद्धेषु विजयिष्यति. अस्मिन् क्षणे महाबाहो रावणं त्वं जहिष्यसि एवमुक्त्वा ततो गस्त्यो जगाम स यथागतम् एतच्छ्रुत्वा महातेजा नष्टशोको भवत्तदा. There also when you break, visarga will come. Dharayamasa suprito Raghavah prayatatmavan Adityam prekshya jiptvedam paramḥṛṣyamāvāptavan Trirāchamya shuchirbhūtvā धनुरादाय वीर्यवान् रावणं प्रेक्ष्य हृष्टात्मा जयार्थं समुपागमत् सर्वयत्नेन महता वृतस्तस्य वधे भवत् अथ रविravadannirīkṣya rāmaṃ muditamanāḥ paramaṃ prahṛṣyamāṇaḥ niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ viditvā suragaṇa madhyagatō vachastvarēti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. One or two questions. How to seek forgiveness? Very simple. Very simple. You forgive all those who have wronged you, who have troubled you, and whom you consider as adversaries, and even as enemies. You forgive all of them. Then God will forgive you automatically without your seeking forgiveness. There is a prayer in Bible. O God, forgive me, like even as I forgive all those who have wronged me. I have put it in my words. Therefore, you seek forgiveness, that is fine, that is great. But first, you deserve forgiveness by forgiving all adversaries. From today onwards, there are no adversaries in my life. I have forgiven all of them. They are all Atma. There is no enemy, no adversary, no opponent, no one who has wronged me. That is how we feel. Sometimes in a worldly context that may be true, that somebody has done a great injustice to you, but still you forgive that person, so that we can seek forgiveness from God. You have the right to seek forgiveness, provided you forgive all others. Then Om represents some saguna nirguna. How? You see, when you say Om, you are chanting the Om, which is the symbol, sound symbol of God. See, God need not be physical only. God can be, physical is a symbol. Symbol need not be physical idol. Symbol can be sound also. Suppose you put Rama's figure there, that is symbol of God. Or a photograph of Rama, that is symbol of God. Or you say Rama, that is also symbol of God. That is word symbol. And Om is the word symbol of God. Therefore, you inhale deeply, and then while exhaling, you say Om, like you say Rama. That is Saguna Upasana. Or you inhale, and while exhaling, you allow your personality to resolve in the Om, and in the following silence, you just merge. And that pure, awareful being is Brahman, which is myself. Therefore, Om takes you into that pure, awareful being, which is Brahman. That is Jnana. So, Om you can use both ways. So then, what upasana we do with Vishnu Sahasranama, please do that. Vishnu Sahasranama has both kinds of names. I used to separate them. This is jnanam, this is upasana, like that. You may listen to some of the Vishnu Sahasranama classes that I have taken. Dozens of classes are available. If you listen to those classes with the text before you, you will know whether it is upasana or jnana. Most of the many names will be upasana. So some of them are jnana. So Vishnu Sahasranama is ideal for both jnanam and upasana. Devi Saptashati, it doesn't fit into this kind of rajasa, sattvika thing, and it has its own glory, but you require some guidance to do upasana of the Devi Saptashati. And if some of these gurus, they have converted Devi Saptashati into very rajasic thing. They take everything literally. These Rakshasas are there, and Devi comes and she kills them. It is all about killing and bloodshed and all that. And therefore, some people are put off also by that. Therefore, it becomes more rajasic, and they made it very much tamasic also. They call Devi as Tamasi. They call her the Tamasi. She holds the skulls, makes as a mala and puts in the neck. Munda mala. Why, what is all that? Therefore, a correct person should handle Devi Mahatmyam or Devi Saptashati. Then from it, Sattvic Upasana can come forward. But the way it is handled in the world, I do not recommend it to you as Upasana. You be satisfied with Vishnu Sahasranama and Aditya Hṛdayam, Gayatri Upasana. If you want to go to Devi Saptashati, you can, but somebody should put it in the right perspective to you. Then you can do that. Lalita Sahasranama is a tantric text. Why do you worry about it? You are asking a wrong person. So I am not recommending, you said Vishnu Sahasranama, and so it is not in the same category. Sahasranama means Vishnu Sahasranama. Mantra means Gayatri Mantra. So these are supreme. Gita means Bhagavad Gita. There are so many other Gitas in the world. So many Sahasranamas. Why you cannot go through all those Sahasranamas? And some of the namas sound silly also. So why you go into all that? Just stay with Vishnu Sahasranama, the original. When you go for phone, you go for Apple phone, something like that. There are many other phones in the market, but you go for the best. Similarly, Vishnu Sahasranama is the best. And with proper guidance, Devi Saptashati can be adopted. And Saundarya Lahari is not by Shankara. Why do you worry about Saundarya Lahari? People believe that it is by Shankara. It is not. Shivananda Lahari is good poetry. They say it is Shankara. I am not sure about it. So, out of the 5 or 6 that you mentioned, I recommend Aditya Hṛdayam and Vishnu Sahasranama. Devi Saptashati, very conditionally. So the other things I do not recommend. Shivananda Lahari, if you love poetry, you can follow that. Or you can follow Shivananda Lahari also for Upasana. I find it hard to focus descriptive verses such as Saundarya Lahari, Sahasranamam, etc. So you have difficulty yourself. God bless you. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. What is the difference between the surrender to the higher power outside and Dvaita Visishtadvaita surrender? In Dvaita Visishtadvaita, there is no real surrender. They say surrender, it is not real surrender. It is not in the form of understanding and feeling. It is in the form of a ritual. There the surrender means they wear yellow clothes and go to the temple by walk for 10 miles or 20 miles and then go around 108 times and then give some dakshina and do some puja. That is what they call surrender. So everything is converted into, and a guru is also involved. So you pray to the guru also. So guru and a priest, that is a package. That is a surrender package. And you are not surrendering your ego. Ego you retain. In fact, you have to retain. If you lose your ego, that becomes Advaita, and we don't want Advaita. That is how. You have to retain ego and make it, what kind of ego? A kind of a believing ego, following ego, subservient ego you should have. That is Advaita. No ego is Advaita. Therefore, in Advaita version of surrender, there will be no ego. To begin with, ego will be there, but then it flip-flop. With ego, you start and end in egoless awareness. That is the surrender. Therefore, Dvaita kind of surrender, don't bother about it. It is not for you. Sri Shankara discusses surrender as Atmanishtha only. It begins as surrender and ends as Atmanishtha. Wave starts worshipping the ocean. That is how the wave begins. And then finally wave resolves in the ocean. So Sri Ramakrishna gave a beautiful example. There was a salt doll. We are all salt dolls only in a way. We eat a lot of pickle and all that coming from South India. We are the salt dolls. And so the salt doll wanted to know the depth of the ocean, how deep it is. Then somebody advised, okay, you take a dive and check, and once you find it, please don't forget to mention to me. That is what somebody said. Then the salt doll dived, and before it found it's the depth of the ocean, it merged with the ocean. So the salt doll diving into the ocean is upasana, and merging in the ocean is the jnana. Therefore, you surrender to the inner self, which is God, and allow the ego to resolve in it, that is upasana. And finally, it becomes egoless awareness, that is called Atmanishtha by Shankara. So, Atmanishtha begins as upasana and becomes Atmanishtha. Upasana means love, bhakti, love. You should have love, that is upasana. And about anger, this is pending, but now I'm not discussing much. I can only say one thing. Anger is the byproduct of desire. There is a desire, therefore you have an anger. If you don't have desire, there will be no anger. So, kama esha, krodha esha. Rajoguna samudbhavaha. Unless you are a very worldly person, Rajoguna is a worldly person. You will not have anger. Only worldly persons are angry because they get frustrated. Their desires are thwarted and so they become angry. Therefore, you have to understand all that movement of mind. It begins as desire and then takes shape as anger. And then people justify anger. There is no justifiable anger in this creation. There is no justifiable anger. Okay? When you are angry, you give instructions to somebody to take your photograph of the face in focus and let him show it. At that time, if he shows, you will be angry with him. Therefore, at that time, he keeps it aside, and when you become calm, then he will show it to you. Then you look at your face, you will not like your face. Generally, whenever you look in the mirror, you like your face. But when your face is photographed, when you are angry, the hideous lines that happen in the face because of your anger, you yourself will not like your face. This is my face? Yes. When? When I was angry. When you are angry. My God, if this is what anger is doing to my face, I don't want anger. Therefore, there is no anger that is justifiable. Therefore, stop justifying anger. And also understand the origin of anger is in your desire and in your worldliness. So the more you are desirous, covetous, and worldly, the more angry you become. It is not good for health. People, they follow wrong path and become sick and then complain. And somebody says, because of the planet you became sick. What can we say? Nobody becomes sick because of the planet. They become sick because they are very worldly people and the mind is full of restlessness, agitation and all negativity. Therefore, the people become sick, not because of the planet. Therefore, once you come into this understanding, listen to some Vedanta classes, your anger will go away. So that completes all the questions. So, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. When I was considering Aditya Hṛdayam, I was wondering how will it go. But now today I feel very fulfilled that I have done a text of Upasana. Even that makes me feel good. That sense of love, the devotion, etc. It is kindled in the heart all these days while presenting the Aditya Hṛdayam. You need that love. So love without jnanam without love is not Advaita. Jnanam with love is Advaita. That's why when I say Sachidananda, that Ananda I always explain as love, and that becomes Bhakti. Therefore there is no difference between Bhakti and Jnanam. Begin with Bhakti, end up in Jnanam. Having gained Jnanam, make it enjoyable with love, with devotion. Therefore, Aditya Hṛdayam is the text where Bhakti and Jnanam are nicely mixed and together. It also proves that they are not different. Therefore, and you all paid attention to the classes, and I am very happy with your attention. So once again, I thank you all. God bless all of you. May God bless all of you. Oh.
We will have just a 5-minute break. Then
Oh,
we'll start
break. Okay.
closing remarks.
Books are there. They are all meant for you. Please feel free and get it. Along with Guru Dakshina, one book is given, and over and above that also you can feel free. Oh.
Finish the closing remarks. If people want to say something, then we'll start.
So 5 minutes.
Hello? No? Yeah, it's working now. Okay.